Hello, so today I'm going to walk you through how to set up your password policies in Salesforce Pro Suite. So we're in Pro Suite today, and there's this gear at the top. And maybe you're familiar with this already. This is your quick settings. But to change your password policies, you really actually need to go into your advanced setup. So I'm going to click that open here. Now, this menu can be fairly intimidating, right? There's a lot going on here. So it is good to get used to this, but if you're, feeling overwhelmed and you're just looking for something specific, you can often try a couple different keywords to search here in this quick find box at the top left. So today, as we mentioned, we're going into password policies. So I'm clicking this open here. And what you're going to see is Salesforce's password policy defaults. Now, before you jump and run away, because I know this is more tech-based and you're like, who cares? Like, it's just password policies. A lot of times the business side of things can feel like it's just an annoyance. A couple of things. One is we're here because it does often cause an annoyance to business, and I want to fix that, right? We want our users to not have a frustrating experience every time they're logging in. And so that's why I want to bring you here today to make sure you review these. But also, we do have to constantly keep in mind that these are security settings for a reason, and that we do obviously want to take care of our customers' data and make sure that we keep it secure. But with both those things in a balance, right, we're keeping two things in mind. We want the most secure is users never log in, right? Nobody can get into the system. Well, obviously that doesn't work, but we also don't want it so loose that somebody can easily hack it. So just take a look here. How often do you want your password to expire? 30 days, I have found, is often an annoyance for especially salespeople. And typically company policies are at around 60 or 90 days. So I tend to open that up to a 60s or 90-day policy. You can change how often can they reuse an old password. The default setting here is 3. I tend to leave that for now. But I do prefer, just based on all the security information out there, it is ideal, and most companies do have a bit higher length of a password requirement. And most companies do ask that the password includes a number, uppercase, lowercase, and special character, at least 3 of those items. So I'm going to change the settings here to that. And then I'm just going to feel free to review these other things, see if they're relevant to you, but those are the key ones that I changed. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. Then the next thing I do also, again, from a user perspective, I want to take you to the search again, and we're going to look for something called session settings. And this setting, I don't know why, it always pops you down to the bottom. So you got to scroll all the way to the top. And don't worry, I don't think we need most of those settings. You can always, of course, look into those and see if they're relevant to you. But the one that I think you're going to care about from your end user perspective is a session timeout. So what this means is after how long of being inactive are you going to time your user out? Are you going to log them out? And so 2 hours is the default, which is typically pretty good. But again, depending on your data, you maybe need to be tighter, or you can be more free with that, depending on how your org is set up. And then also this little pop-up. So a lot of times users get a pop-up that says, hey, you're about to be logged out. And honestly, sometimes like for every window that you have open of Salesforce, it can pop that pop-up for every window you have open. So again, I find it really annoys the users, and I like to disable that. So once I adjust those settings to how I want them, I come down here and I click save. Now, last thing I would encourage you to think about, one thing to know is Salesforce contractually does require you to use a multi-factor authentication setup. And so just make sure, if you need to be in compliance with that contract, that you need to look that up, as well as another thing to think about, and it actually satisfies the multi-factor authentication requirement, is using a single sign-on. And now typically I like core Salesforce functionality, right? I don't want a lot of upsells, but look into the single sign-on. If you have that already set up for your company, that is one of the best things you can do because it really helps keep your system secure, but also helps your end user in adopting Salesforce more because the login is no longer a frustration, and you don't have to worry about the password policies in that sense. So check those things out if those are relevant to you. I hope this little quick tutorial has been helpful and beneficial for your org.